Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Team Joystick Heroes podcast. This is Chris.
Rebecca.
And we have a guest on with us.
Hi, I'm Kat.
Hi, Kat.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
Olive
Green.
Kat, if you could tell us a little bit about your experience with the game design program.
So, I want to say it was probably a year, 2 years ago. I started the program as a little fledgling in the, game one. Then progressed through game two. I was a team lead for, I don't even remember our team name.
Successful Failures.
Successful Failures, yeah. As great as that was. Then games 3 and 4, I stepped down. And then I graduated the program as of two semesters ago, yeah. I graduated with my associates.
How do you feel?
Relieved.
Yeah.
De-stressed.
What was the most difficult semester, not counting game one?
I'm probably going to say game 3. Game 2 was stressful, just being lead and, learning how to manage everyone and deal with, people either not getting work done or not knowing what to do and figuring out what everyone can do.
Yeah,
what they like and what their strengths are. But game 3 was probably the toughest because I had thoughts of dropping out of the program.
Okay.
Just because I realized this, wasn't really what I wanted to do. I was going to restart and go into computer science or thought about maybe an art degree, but I my production just went down, just into the ditch, and it was just tough, getting through it. I didn't feel like dealing with anyone. We took on another team that was in the summer program, and they came on, and then we had to, relearn how to work with everyone. Successful Failures. They didn't really mesh too well with Rock Flip. That was their team name. Just two different dynamics. But I mean, we came through at the end, game 4, and we finished Venue Vandals, our game, and it happened. It was a thing.
Yeah. No, it happens. I'm glad you came through it. Are you happy that you finished out
strong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I would have swapped out majors, it just would have been a mistake. I would have had to restart. Barely any of my credits would have transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good, because if not, it's good you came through it, because if not, it would have been like you did all this for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad you came through it. How was being lead? Because we could talk about that. I was lead in game 2, as most of our viewers know, because we have no viewers.
We have one.
We're listeners, whatever. Yeah, my girlfriend. Hey, Alyssa. Shout out to Alyssa. Okay, no shout out. But yeah, so I had the same issue where, did you have any girls in your
we had Maya. She's actually out in the other room right now, but we had her. She was art lead.
Okay.
We had Isis. She was an art member. And we had one girl. She was also in programming. So in game 2, I was team lead and programming lead. It was 2 leads in one. So that was fun.
Yeah, 2 leads awful. For the price of 1.
But we had I forget her name. She was nice, but she probably dropped out 2 weeks into the program just because she couldn't
handle it.
Right. She had a Mac, and Game Maker didn't want to work with Mac, I believe, and she didn't have the time or wanted to make the time to come in because I think she worked full time. It was a lot, and I was thankful that she did drop out because that was one less thing I had to worry about.
Yeah, we had that problem too with Tedrick.
Except it was like 2 days.
Yeah,
it
2
wasn't
days.
Really, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was more like 2 days, but.
We still talk to Tedrick. He was in the group text for the longest time into game 2 and game 3.
He's just that awkward third party,
He would just get the text, and then one day he was like, when we were afraid Gordon wasn't going to update, and we got a text from Tedrick like, man, I'm really scared for you guys right now.
And I was like, I'm so sorry that you've been through this. It was like maybe 2 months into game 2. It wasn't even a couple weeks. It was halfway through the semester. He's like, oh, hey. I'm like, oh, Tedrick. He said he was stressed out. He had whatever was going on, but I was thankful as well, just because it's rather that you quit now than later. You know
right,
what I mean?
Before, you got like 3 weeks worth of work done or due, and the dude's just like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm back out.
Don't put a workload on someone who, you feel may drop out of the program, because it's not for everyone when it comes to it.
Absolutely not, no. And usually game 1 helps to weed that out, but it's, game 1 is all theoretical. Like, you write your papers, but game 2 is when you actually start doing work.
And you have to work with a team.
Exactly.
I think that's the hardest part, is that, because at first, we all didn't really know each other. We all started talking more towards, like, the end of the semester.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris you weren't really there most of it, because you were a repeat, right?
Yeah, for the first semester, for game 1, I was a repeat. So I didn't really know you guys going into game 2. Like, I knew Logan, and that was it. Everyone else was brand new person before game 1, and I wanted to make sure I got in to see your guys' presentations, just so I know a little bit of who I was working with. I met Bushta, like, 2 weeks before the program was over. I was very tired that day, because it was the day the GDD was due, and I had worked all night to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember having a very tired conversation talking to Bushta about just random stuff. And
I
was
only
like,
imagine.
and I was like, that's how I met Bushta. And then I met all of you guys the day that you were on your presentations, and I figured where everyone's strong suits would have been. But yeah, that was a kind of a cool, weird experience, not being fully knowing everyone, because I expected I'd know who would be on my team, and then just because I didn't show up to class because I didn't have to.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a blessing, but also like kind of a downfall, because game 1 you kind of formulate opinions of all of your peers, and you're like, all right, he's weird, she's not all there, they're a workaholic. It's like, and then you get to game 2, and you either find out you were spot on or you were totally off.
I was totally off.
Like one dude,
sure.
Yeah, like one dude could be, you'd be like, oh, he's an asshole, but then next semester he's like, oh no, he's a jerk ass with a heart of gold. Like, he just has this weird outward appearance.
Yeah, like Cipriani. Like, he's an asshole, but you just have to know him.
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's just how people are.
Yeah.
I remember game 2 was very stressful in the beginning
with him. You could say, yeah. Yeah, he was.
I wanted to strangle him.
We all did. It wasn't even just us. It was like everyone on the team was like frustrated with him, because he just like was being difficult, and he just wouldn't shut up about. He always had an issue, and
it took a semester to like break him of it to the point where we could get past it and work as an actual team and get over it. Like, just move past it, be like, all right, we get it, let's just move on, because this is impacting our work. It did get to a point where it impacted the work a little bit.
Yeah.
So we just moved past it.
And I feel like that's par for the course. Like, every team just has that one person. We had one as well. I'm not naming any names just because you won't know who they are, and it's all good.
Right.
But yeah, he was an older guy. I think he was like late 20s or so, and he just had this air about him. Like, we didn't know, because he was older, he thought he was better than us, or he was just that much of an asshole.
Right.
And I think he was, I don't know if he was ever a mega lead. I know that we had 2 leads in game 2, because the one couldn't handle it, so we transferred it over to another guy. But this guy, as of game 3 and 4, he was kind of like a backup lead.
Mm-hmm.
And lieutenant, I think we called him. We called him a lieutenant. And like, it was just working with him was a pain in the ass. He was very condescending in the ways he would kind of say. And if he would come to you with work, and you'd be like, dude, I can't do that. He really wouldn't take no for an answer. Like, I remember he put a shit ton of work on me for art. It was for the manual. And I was like, dude, I can't get all this done. You're asking me for like 20 art pieces for a manual that's like 3x5.
Right.
I'm like, we can just reuse art that we have. Now, I probably was being a little lazy, because I'm like, I'm tired, I'm working.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But at the same time, you have to take into account, people have to get their work done, but you also have to realize what they're doing in their life. Because
they're people, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, you have to, like, Adam, for instance, like, he's a father. He sometimes he. So I feel like most people, he's very good at multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
Like during meetings, he'll play video games, but then he'll go back to work. And I feel like for most people that doesn't make any sense, but for him it works. You know what I mean? You have to understand that everyone is different.
Mm-hmm.
And that, yeah, like you said, like people have lives. Like sometimes people may be going through something, and if they can't do it, then that's fine. Get someone else to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have Gordon. Because he just does everything.
He's like your go-to man, right?
Yeah, no, seriously, because...
I still can't get over when Morrison called him Rain Man. I lost my mind.
Is he still here?
I think he was sitting at that computer.
I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah,
I saw his little head, and then...
He's very quiet. He'll sit there. He'll be snarky to himself. If you're sitting next to him, you'll hear it.
Yeah.
Sometimes. He still says stuff, and I don't hear what he's saying.
Thanks for drinking all my water.
You're welcome. But yeah, Gordon will work his little heart to the ground, and
his little heart.
I don't know.
Has his heart
I imagine
grown
he's like the
three
Grinch.
sizes?
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. Gordon still hates us as much as everyone else. As the day we first met him.
Now, I have a question. So from the team dynamics that are expressed in this course, have you guys applied this to any real life situations, like if you, at other classes?
Oh
jobs?
Yeah, like my life, like my friends. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm more upfront with people because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. You know what I mean? Especially like with being a lead, like I didn't want to be like, you didn't do this, like why? Like I just didn't want to be mean. But now that like I understand, it's better just to be upfront and just like tell them right away rather than letting it go and then letting it bottle up and etc.
One thing that helped me with this was there were a few times that something would happen, the blame would fall on like me, even if it wasn't fully my fault, and I would just take it. And I would just be like, oh, it's my fault. Oh, well, I messed up. But now I've taken it to where I've like, stood up, like at my job. My boss didn't think I was capable of doing something, and so I stood up for myself and said, I can do that. I can totally do that. I have 4 years of experience in doing exactly that. So I wouldn't have done that, a year ago outside of the program. Like, just like learned really quickly, you have to stand up. You can't, like, just because someone in an authority says you did something doesn't mean you actually did it. That's what I learned from taking this.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I've definitely. I do custom framing at Michael's, and
Right.
it's a very small team. Usually, each shop is maybe 4 to 6 people, depending on the volume of the store. And when I was in game 2, 3, and 4, I kind of applied it, but I feel like I've definitely grown up a bit from when I started college to now. But in my new shop, I transferred to full-time, and I was working under this manager. I started in May. She probably left first week of August. So for 3 weeks, we didn't have a manager.
Right.
And because I was full-time, they're like, oh, well, that's your job now. You step up and just kind of keep the shop floating. And I was like, are you serious? like you're not paying me to do this. Like, where's my, give me an extra $1 or $2 for these few weeks. But so I pretty much did the minimal, because I'm like, you're not going to step all over me and make me do this without, naming me manager. But I used everything that I learned from the course. Like, like my favorite thing, I use this in a day-to-day basis, is Morrison's shit sandwich. You do a little bit of good, and then you tell them the bad, but then you back it up with some good. Just sandwich it together. But it really does work with people. Like, we have one girl, she's a very good framer. I love her designs, but production-wise, she's very slow, and then she just doesn't show up for shifts.
Right.
And I try, I'm not going to talk to her like I'm her manager. I'm not solving her problems. But when I saw her one day, I was like, you're a really good framer. And I forget exactly what I probably brought up the fact that, she wouldn't, she like wouldn't open the freight boxes, and then she wouldn't do something else. So I brought it up, and I was like, but you're pretty good. And like she did respond to it pretty well.
Right.
She's still having problems now, so I think they're going to boot her out. But
oh, jeez.
She did pick up for like a week or two after that. Like, and I was like, holy shit, I did that.
Yeah, nice. No, I think some people just need motivation. I think that's the biggest issue. I think if you like just bash someone like, why didn't you do this? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't think that's going to help someone.
No, they're going to shut down.
Yeah, exactly. So you just got to be like, you have to understand what's going on. Like, is there anything going on? Like, what's wrong? Can I help you? Like, some people just need a little boost of motivation, which is totally fine.
Yeah. And I don't know where I was going to go with that. I started a sentence in my mind and it didn't go anywhere. But when you work in like a team with such like diverse personalities, like everyone here is different. Like how many Shifty Daves are there in existence?
One.
Exactly. How many Bushes are in existence? One. How many, everyone here is unique and individual. No one here is the same person as another person.
Thank God. Because I would kill myself if we had 9 Cipriani.
I was going to say, could you imagine a whole team? Nothing would get done. Because
they would just argue with each other.
Exactly.
And then they'd unanimously agree and then disagree on the agreement. They'd be like, all right, so we all agree that we suck. But I'm the better one.
There's like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And, we've said this, being leads, ourselves, all of us have leadership experience now in the program. Mine not as extensive as yours. I was only an Omega lead. I was only in charge of 3 people throughout a semester instead of...
Be thankful.
But, you find people's strong suits, you find how well they work, and, you adjust accordingly. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how good Gordon was at just handling workloads until midway through the semester when I offered to help him with the GDD, and he was like, nope, I got it. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm just going to number all the pages. It's already like halfway done. And I'm like, what the hell, Gordon?
I remember that. I remember you getting that text, yeah.
I was just like, I was sitting there. I had my laptop open. I was getting ready to go onto the drive, take the half of the pages I said I'd do. And I went into the drive, and almost all of them were already done. I'm like, Gordon, did you just work on this? Because he was home sick that day, and I had work. So I got back, and I came back to the school. I started working. And I just looked at him like, wait a minute, Gordon, did you do everything? He's like, yep, I just numbered all the pages.
That is my most hated job at the end of a GDD, is just numbering those damn pages.
Yes, I completely. And then I remember formatting, like getting all the pages like in the correct order, because I think I did. Maybe was it the GDD? I guess it was. I took all the pages that everyone did, took them all together, and then I think I just formatted them, but it was just awful, making sure everything was like aligned correctly.
That is the worst part, because if you don't establish a template for everyone to use, and even then, after they do use the template, shit's still...
Yeah, I remember we had issues with the template. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? Because I forget what it was. But
we had different ideas on what we were doing for the template, and measurements were off. I remember that Burger King meeting.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we had to call Cipriani because
something was off and he couldn't make it to the meeting.
I think it was that he thought we were using a different one, or he used like a different one, but we were using the one we were using. It was something. It was just like communication, as always.
Yeah, and we still have communication problems.
And you always will. That's never going to go away. I think that's just a human error in the long run.
Like, I put it into perspective, and I was like, do you think at Bethesda, like, the one company that makes the glitchiest messes of games, and they still get ungodly amounts of praise, you think at Bethesda they are perfectly communicated? I don't think so. Because if you see how many errors are in those games, there has to be communication
That's at any company, too. And another thing is, because your students, you're running off your time and the school's time, you don't... where in big budget companies, they have design meetings. They sit down and they're like, all right, Stevenson, let's get up on the chalkboard and design exactly how this is going to be for 5 hours.
Right.
Because
damn Stevenson.
And damn Stevenson. But at the end of the day, you're not getting paid. This isn't, your livelihood's on the line. You're here to learn, and you're allowed to fuck up.
Which is great. Thank God I'm not getting fired. It's just like I'm getting we just got the letter grade off. Thank God it was only that
FFP.
rather than us getting fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he told me about that, I was like, how? I'm like, how did you forget the FFB?
And I was like, and I went to Logan and I was like, Logan, let me see the schedule. And he pulled out his syllabus, and I said, no, Logan, the schedule. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the thing that tells us when things are due, Logan. And he's like, oh.
Well, who's your tech lead? Is it?
Is Fan.
Well, where the hell was Fan?
It was just we all screwed up. That was bad.
That was so
bad.
That was like Dad yelling at us.
I want to ask Morrison if that's ever happened, like, before. But you know what? Every team always gets yelled at in, like, a dad moment.
I felt like I disappointed my dad that day. Like, I was just like, I had to sit down and listen to my dad yell at me, and then go and then just sit and think about it. Like,
and I screamed at Logan.
You did. You like walked away from the group. You were like, I need to be alone.
Pissed. You just like lost your cool.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, he needs to be yelled at sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he understands fully like what it means to, like, be on top of things. Mm-hmm. You know, I still don't think he gets that. Love him to death, but my God, Logan, like, what is wrong with you? And I just freaked. I think I cursed at him too. It was bad.
We were all in pretty bad moods that day. Like, this was our day we were presenting, and we're all miserable halfway through practice.
Oh yeah. And Cipriani kept telling me to calm down. I'm like, don't tell me to calm down.
I thought you were going to punch him that day. I thought that, like, we were going to see the Rebecca punch. That was...
It'll come soon.
The interesting about, like, just from observing as little as I have of your group is, like, Logan is the complete opposite of an A-type personality. Yeah. And A-type personalities are, like, those really for leading. They're very punctual, precise. Everything needs to be their way or they're going to lose their minds.
Hi.
But, like, it's just interesting with how lax he is. And I think that, because there's a lot of A-type personalities in this group, and I think that's where a little bit of the, like, the...
conflict?
Yeah, I almost said race cars.
Race cars.
So, like, they crash together.
Like where the race cars come in. Yeah. No, I got you.
You're making a racing game, though. But I think that's where a little bit of the butting heads comes from. Because it's, I don't know we're going to call it B-type, but, it's a lot of A-types versus a B-type, and the B-type is leading, which is completely opposite of, not how it should be, but how it normally goes.
I would like for everyone to take the Myers-Briggs on this team.
Oh, yeah.
We should make that a requirement for...
The mediator, that was mine, the hippie, the mediator.
So the Myers-Briggs personality test is a test designed, it was 16 different personalities, broken down into 4 letters. Is how
like INFTJ and all these different...
mine is... Oh, what was mine? It was like this... I forgot my name. I'm more of an observant, logical-based person, which is kind of funny because I do think with my feelings a little bit sometimes, but I guess I answered every question honestly, and it gave me that, so I was like, huh.
You're just a robot.
So I would really like for everyone to take that because there's like nurturers, there's healers, which try to mitigate any situation that comes out.
And then you have paladins, tanks, buffers.
The black mage and the white mage.
You're not serious, right? Are you serious?
No.
Okay, I'm like, that's awesome.
But that could be a cool team building exercise. Like maybe ask Morrison. Like at the beginning of class, you could all do it and see what you get because it's pretty
spot on. You just have to answer it honestly.
It would be like an eggplant.
Yeah, I'll show it to Morrison and have us see about taking it, and even if he says whatever,
whatever,
I still
we should
think
just
we
do
should
it anyway.
Yeah, exactly, because it could be fun, and then it's always fun to talk about oh, this was totally on, or like you'd be like, oh, I'm kind of like that, but
yeah,
it's not fully me and stuff like that. So
it's like when you take your horoscope and you're like, whoa, man, this just said that I'm gonna meet someone with blue eyes, and I just did.
That's crazy.
Real quick, I wanted to deviate from talking about the team because I saw news that really made me laugh a little bit. It has to do with Kojima.
I love that man. Continue.
So Konami decided to try to do something with the Metal Gear license. They're doing Metal Gear, like it's a zombie survival game in Metal Gear, and Kojima is tearing it to pieces, and it's hilarious to watch.
Well, did you see their spokesperson? He looks like Kojima from like 10 years ago.
Really?
It's odd.
That's really funny.
They just cloned Kojima.
They really did, but I'm still convinced Konami is owned by the Yakuza.
Yeah.
It has to be, because they take their IPs and then just like go
Butcher
balls
them.
off the wall with it. Like we're gonna see it's gonna be Silent Hill Homecoming, but like you're gonna design a homecoming party, with nurses and fucking Pyramid Head.
That'd be awful.
But like it's what they're the Silent Hill series has gone like so left field, as well as Metal Gear, and just it's like, what are you doing? But like
same with Capcom though.
It's been observed that the Yakuza, when they have a hold on a business, they use it as their front. And it's been observed that when the business stops either being profitable or they're being picked up on, they tank the company through odd means. They start making bad decisions, like from a business standpoint, and just other things that tank the company.
That's
that looks like a...
I never thought of it like that.
I read an article and it was really interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, like, and I was just like, why are they doing, like, zombies are not popular anymore. Like, they're really not.
Zombies and vampires, thank God, they're like,
I think, like,
done.
The Walking Dead and, like, Twilight kind of, like, brought all that
to
life, and now it's starting to die, which is fantastic. Because I was just and what was the other one? Werewolves?
No.
Werewolves were, like, a thing, right?
A little bit. They never really...
Wolf.
Yeah. But they never, like, super caught on, which upset me, because, like, they're, out of, like, vampires, werewolves, and shit like that, they're my favorite.
Yeah.
I think, though, with vampires need to be terrifying. Like, having a vampire protagonist who's a good guy, like, fights for righteous means and everything, really bugs me. Like,
it doesn't make
if
any
you
sense.
have a vampire, he needs to be a predator. Like, he or she needs to be a predator. I mean, some of the most famous people who have been called vampires in histories were terrible people. Vlad the Impaler, the one chick, the French chick who bathed in young women's blood.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Like, they're
for
all,
her youth.
Yeah, to preserve her youth. There was a Hellboy animated movie that had to deal with like vampires and stuff. It was like Blood and Iron. It was pretty good.
Really?
And it had to deal with like Vlad the Impaler and her were like the main villains. It was really cool.
You guys should totally watch Penny Dreadful. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it. Someone mentioned it.
It's so good.
I keep seeing it on Netflix. I'm like,
it's so good because it has to do with it's like based like late 1800s London, but it has like mythological creatures, like it has werewolves and vampires, and it has like Satan in it. It's so, and they're all British, and it's fantastic, and it's good. It's not like they don't like they make it scary, you know what I mean? Like vampire, it's scary, and it's so good.
I think it's funny that I talked about this with our friends about the Penny Dreadful, and because it's named after what were called Penny Dreadfuls, which were reprints of horror stories that they would put in cheap magazines in that time period.
And that's where Mary Shelley got her start.
Mary Shelley got
Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, he's in it. Frankenstein's in it, which is really
Frankenstein's monster.
Well, you'll see. It's so good. You have to watch it.
But so many horror writers got their start in these Penny Dreadfuls because Mary Shelley was the person who created science fiction, credited as, and so
she is the mother of science fiction.
Yeah, it's interesting because some people debate whether Frankenstein is a horror / science fiction or if it's pure science fiction. So that's why sometimes in horror compilations, because I read a lot of literary horror, and I noticed looking through like compilation books of it, you can see that it's either sometimes it's there, sometimes Frankenstein is not, because it's just a matter of whose taste decides if it's horror or not. But it's always in science fiction. It's what I've noticed.
Yeah. We're all nodding.
We're all nodding at each other for some reason.
Nodding violently.
Anything else? Any other news recently that came out, like gaming related?
Gaming related?
Yeah,
So,
Metroid Prime Federation Force came out, and it's a disaster, and I'm so happy it is.
No, I was gonna bring up No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky? We talked about No Man's Sky. But I wanted to talk about
when did
Metroid
that come
Prime.
Out?
Metroid Prime Federation Force?
Yeah.
Like last week.
I haven't even heard of this.
I've heard of it, but I forgot it existed. Like, I heard about it, and then I just
it has nothing to do with Samus. Samus is just not in the game.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's
I'll
why
have to
everyone
call up
hates
Nintendo
it. That's
right
why
now.
everyone hates it.
Speaking of Nintendo, where is the goddamn NX? When are we going to hear?
What is this? Is this
I don't know.
It's supposed to be the next handheld that's replacing the 3DS.
It's like
they just released the new 3DS.
It's supposed to be handheld, but a home console at the same time. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and they're not releasing any information about it. And Nintendo loves doing this for some reason. They love torturing their fans.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. They get some sick pleasure out of it. I just want to know what is it? Just what? I don't even want a release date. I just want to know what it is.
Maybe it's gonna be like how like the Wii U gamepad, like you can play kind of like
That's
maybe
what
like
I
you can
think.
play it at home and then take it.
But I feel like it defeats the whole
It really
purpose
does.
of like a home and
Like,
a handheld, because like.
Yeah, like
I
the
don't know.
thrill of having a home console is staying up until 5 a.m. playing this game. Then you go home, or you go to your room or your bed,
Yeah.
you pass out for 3 hours, wake up, go to work, and then for 8 hours you're just sitting there jonesing the whole time, like, I want to play
And
this
then you
game.
play your handheld. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a
Like,
kinda-
I get it, because like, yeah, the whole part of the home is that you play at home.
Mhm.
The whole part of handheld is you go and you play by yourself wherever you're going.
Yeah, you play
Or
in
with
the
your
car.
friends.
And then
Yeah.
you kind of like do like an A when you see other people playing it on like the, you know, like the train or other places.
Yeah, like that's another thing. Like, and then what with stuff with like Pokemon Sun and Moon, they're releasing tons of information.
Oh my god,
like,
so much, and I'm so excited about, but still, where the hell is the goddamn NX?
Do we want to talk about Sun and Moon coming out
please.
for a little bit?
I need it.
You're getting Sun?
I'm getting
What are
Sun.
you
I'm getting Moon.
You're getting Moon.
Oh, Lunala. Lunala's just so cool. It's a giant bat.
Yeah, but the other one's like a giant cat.
So
It's a giant,
Yeah.
giant lion.
He's
And, like,
he's a moon lion, or he's a sun lion.
It's so cute. He's a giant cat, and it looks like he has like it's like flower petals for his face.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It makes me happy.
What the cool part about their design though is they almost look like. Do you remember the robotic dog pet thing you could
Yes.
have?
Yes.
They look like that. Like their face just looks like a screen. Like Lunala's
Yeah.
got it right in its forehead, and then Solgaleo's, I think, eyes.
What was that called? It had like his
It
name.
was like not Itachi. That's.
No, it was I have one at
They
home
were
still.
made by Tomy. I remember
Yeah.
that because they made all those weird things.
Those were the best though. And it had like a little bone.
Yes, you put it up to its
Yeah,
mouth,
yeah.
and then they came out with the cat, and then they made
Oh,
a
yeah.
raptor, which was like totally
Oh,
out of
yeah.
left field, and I always wanted.
I remember exactly what you talked about. I can't remember the name. My sister had one, but I was thinking about recently when they released. You know, they updated Alola forms. Did you see Alola Raticate?
Oh my god,
He's
little
fat.
mob boss.
Wait,
yeah.
there's an Alola Raticate?
Yeah, there's Alola
little
Rattata.
Rattata has like a little mustache, and then they made Raticate, and he's just this round.
Does he have like a hat and like a cigar and like a Tommy gun?
He looks like he should.
But it's just really funny, like what they're doing. Like I feel like Game Freak at this point just doesn't care anymore.
No,
So-
they're you know, I feel like through like Gen's like Gen 2 rode off the coattails of Gen 1 just because it was, you know, it was pretty much supposed to be Gen 1, but they had, due to constraints, they had to cut it out. But like I feel like Gens 3 through 4, or no, 3 through 5 were just kind of like, oh, let's introduce a little bit, keep it formulaic. Then Gen 6 came out and they're like, all right, well, now we got mega forms. We can go sideways, and now we can sit on benches. And that was like revolutionary.
yeah.
But now Gen 7's coming out, and they're just like, just use a whole new game. Hey, we got this thing called Type Null. We're putting hyphens and commas and shit and names now.
Yeah.
And,
There's Z moves, so it looks like a
Z
Super
moves.
Sentai
but
Power Rangers.
then now they're like, now we got things that aren't even Pokemon going on. These what are they called? Ultimate Beasts?
Ultimate Beasts. Or
They're like, we don't even know what these things are.
yeah.
It's true. It's just getting crazier and
Did you
crazier.
see?
I love it.
Did you see that the Eevee's EX or Z move?
Yeah.
And with with like the posing evolutions,
Yeah.
I laughed like so hard
I thought
when I
it was
saw it for
awesome.
the first
It's
time.
like, it always just reminds me of Lion King, like, Simba. Like,
And then the Pikachu one.
You are.
The Pikachu is just thrown.
Yeah, she's like... What was the one post? Hi,
Yeah.
Hi.
Maya's in the building.
No, get out. I don't want to be in the building.
You're in this building.
Hi,
Well,
Maya.
you're not wrong.
So, real sudden guest on the podcast. Hi, Maya.
Hi.
Speak up because you're kind of far back.
Hi.
There you are.
Hey.
So we're gonna run a little long. Sorry, Rebecca. If you need to leave,
Yeah, I'll leave, and then do you guys want to finish it?
sure.
Don't worry,
All
we
right.
can swap out.
Yeah, there you
All right,
go.
I'll give you your
Tap out.
Alright, bye, I'm leaving podcast.
Bye.
Clap me up. Clap me in.
Yeah.
Tag team. Tag team.
Where are you
Wait,
at?
I need my...
Oh, flash drive.
Yeah.
Do you need it? Okay. So I'll just save it and give you the podcast
Okay.
whenever.
Just email.
Alright.
Drop it on
Email.
the drive.
Alright,
It's gonna be so much data.
Drop the drive.
bye.
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 All right, Maya. Hello.
Oh, hey.
So we are now 30 minutes into the podcast, and you decided to join us.
So we got 2 guests.
Yeah,
You know, it's
it's
gonna be
all-
a
it's-
special episode.
Special alumni guest.
So Maya, tell us about your experience in the game design program.
Oh, why would you ask me that?
Cause that's what we asked.
For some
Kat.
background, Maya was on my team. We spent the whole ordeal together.
Yeah, and an ordeal it was, and I don't want to remember it. It was fun. I liked learning life lessons, but the headaches, whew,
The late nights.
the late nights, all the alcohol that I've drank.
Remember the night we stayed up and fixed the GDD?
Yeah.
We remade the GDD
And
in
then
like
we
8
had
hours.
class.
Yeah.
And then after class, we had to still keep fixing it, and then go to Staples for like 3 hours.
And then I took you to Friendly's.
And then we went to Friendly's, and we had a nice date.
Friendly's.
Yeah, you weren't in the picture.
Food. We need food after this.
Stop! No.
I already ate, but I'll go with you guys.
Yay!
Yeah.
But
Friendship.
Since I can't hang out tonight because I think I'm going out for my
Right.
birthday.
There you go, girl.
Ooh, ooh,
But
ooh.
I was telling them about how how we didn't mesh well with Rock Flip and
Oh yeah, that was. I think it was only me that meshed well, and then I was still like a little upset about like them being jackasses to not accepting everyone. And I was like,
I was being PC between the two, but I mean, you tell us how you feel.
oh no, I think they only wanted like a couple of us from like
Oh yeah, well
successful failures, and then they were just like fuck everybody else. And I was like,
Well, we were like that kids team of like the little league baseball kids who just kind of like sit out in left field
yo,
and
we're
like,
just
pick their
pick
noses.
last. Yo, I was always when I played softball, I was always making shadow animals because I just hated it.
But like we tried. We really did try. It sucks. Like our game was subpar, but none of us had done anything before. We never coded. We never.
Yeah.
Most of us never even talked to each other more than like once a week.
I definitely identified myself as an outcast in that group, which is like weird because I was very sociable, but I still felt like an outcast.
Well, I think it had to do with you have a very outgoing personality contrasted to the whole friggin' team who we were a team of introverts. You're very outgoing. Me, less so, but I can talk to anyone. But
I am mostly just outgoing because I like annoying people.
yeah, right. Well, that's like game one. I was like this bitch. Like
That's how I felt about what's her face.
Stephanie, that was her name. Wait, right?
No, Stephanie was game 2.
No, oh, she wasn't in our game one.
Nope. She's like 29 now. She's old. Anyway.
She old.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't hear this. I'm sorry, Stephanie. You're not old. You're a beautiful vegan woman. Anyway.
Who are you?
Is.
That makes me think of Jim Jeffries. I told you about the comedian from Australia. He has a bit where he talks about, and he's like, the thing with is.
But yeah, I mean,
I saw her like art. I was like, this fucking bitch is going all out. Like, who you?
well, and I felt a little bit of that was probably because we were 3 females. We were rooted in what we do.
Sausage party with the 3 chicks.
But, like, you know, we were 3 chicks in a team, in, like, a classroom full of 20 other dudes, and we're like, we're better than all y'all. We don't even gotta prove it, but we're going to.
What's it called? When I made that, the past global game jam at my college, the people that I knew formed, like, a group of 13, and I was like, well, I assumed I was making a game with my significant other at the time. Go kick rocks. And
and also, could I request that you stay within the range of the microphone?
And I was like, I'm gonna make a game by myself. I'm gonna show all you guys. So I went, bought a monster. I walked to 7-Eleven at like 1 in the morning, bought a monster, came back to the game jam, made a game in like 6 hours, took a nap, woke up, bug tested for like maybe 30 minutes. And then I was like, all right, I'm done for the weekend. And it was still better than their games.
I'm sure it was,
and I have
man.
the gift bag to prove it. So much candy.
Dude, you and I could be, like, a force to be reckoned with if we, like, made something.
Just
but
make
we're both
music. I'm so bad.
but we're, like, we would get together, and then we would, like, all right, let's work. One of us would be on YouTube, the other one's, like, scrolling through Tumblr, like, oh, look at the Steven universe.
We're working. Don't worry about it. It's research.
It's 5 minutes of work versus an hour of playtime, but it'll still be really good. That's
You're not wrong. That's why I can't work with anybody.
All right, so let me ask you a few questions because
no.
wanted to talk about this with Rebecca here as well, but being a female in the game design program and also being in a position of power, as in being a lead, did it affect dynamics within the team? Because I feel like with Rebecca, it really didn't affect dynamics at all with us. Like, I don't feel like anyone felt differently about her being in the leadership position.
Were all leads.
Yeah, that was the cool. That's why I wanted you to come in, girl.
I wasn't a lead.
You were a lead, Maya.
You know what? With our group, I don't think we felt it either. But that's not to say that it doesn't happen. But, you know, I never had anyone really come out at me, you know, oh, you're a girl, you don't know me. But, thank you.
Cute shirt.
Thank you. But, I didn't really feel anything, did you?
No. It was just like, all right, let's make sure we get our work done.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me know what I gotta do. I don't care if you have a vagina or not.
No one questioned Rebecca's leadership when it came to her stepping up as lead because she knew what she was doing. She knew how to, like, manage us. You know, it took her 2 weeks to, you know, fully grasp everyone's work ethic. But by the time she did, she knew what she was doing. So it just kind of, like, was natural for her to be a lead.
You know what I did feel a little bit, though, of that, kind of like when you would tell people to do something and then, like, you just hear through the grapevine, be like, oh, they're being so bitchy. Like, no, I'm not being bitchy. I'm being your boss, and I'm telling you what to do. It's like, you know, it being bitchy versus being bossy.
Well, a lot of people don't understand that, like, your work life and your personal life should be 2 separate entities, and usually people meld them together, especially in my case where I was dating another lead.
Yeah.
And if we're in a business meeting or we're in a meeting in general and you mess up, I'm going to call you out. When we're in that meeting, we're not together. We're coworkers, we're teammates. So a lot of people, like, get upset about that. Like, oh, I thought you were my friend. It's like, no. This is so we can make sure this project gets done. This has nothing to do with
I'm your
friendship.
friend outside this project,
yeah.
But inside this project, I am your lead.
You know what we did have a problem with? People thought we were favoritizing people. Like, favoritism was, like, supposedly a big problem with our group. Yeah, like,
it was.
Because we had our friends in the team, but, like, we have the ability to be friends with anyone. Like, we're just those kind of people. But, you know, if I'm your friend, that's great. But like Maya said, work and personal life is totally different. I'm not favoritizing you because you're my friend. You could be my friend and you could be the worst friggin' member of this team. You know, but it's like...
I'm still tell you your art's bad.
Exactly. But, like, people would get, you know, salty and just be like, oh, well, you're nice to them because you're favoritizing and you're giving them all that work. And it's like, no.
Yeah, we didn't encounter
friendliness is not correlated to any of that.
See, it's interesting because I remember at the game show someone asked about how it was to be a girl in the game design community and being in the game design program themselves. And I feel like at least with our group, we didn't question Rebecca being in the game design program at all. I don't know if it was with you guys, if anyone was like, why are you here at all? I don't know if that's like a common thing that a lot of people come against.
That's funny. I didn't get that at this college, but at the college that I attend now, I get that a lot because I'm a very outgoing person, but being in a new environment, I try not to put all my eggs in one basket and just become friends with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people wouldn't see me do work because I do work in my dorm or in my personal time, and they're like, why are you even here? What? Like, you don't even know anything about game design. It's like, let me teach you something real quick, okay?
I'm thankful that it never really happened in, our circle, but it's a shame because it does happen a lot, and it sucks. It's like
you've always been there. Like, girls have always been in the gaming
always.
industry.
We were the original coders.
But it's just like our prominence as game design. Like, we don't put our stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. Like, my favorite thing is Bayonetta. The person who designed Bayonetta's character was a woman.
My wife.
Waifu for life.
Yeah, Bayonetta's character designer was female. She designed her to be a female power fantasy.
And like, Bayonetta is like the definition of strong and sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a female character does not have to be strong. She does not have to be sexy. But when, she can be whatever she wants. She can be the manliest thing on the face of the planet. It's still she. She's a character. But like, when people make the stereotypical damsel in distress character, or they guise, oh, my character's really strong. She wears battle bikinis and she kills everyone. But then main barbarian guy comes along and she's in love. And it's just like, all right, you had me. Like, battle bikini was kind of shifty, but like I was still digging it. And then she just came.
It was
second
funny.
torch.
We actually had a open discussion about I guess feminism in video games, and I was like, yeah, I can get upset about bikinis and whatnot. I was like, but at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of freedom of speech. People that make these games, it's their
It's
freedom.
freedom of expression.
I'm like, but also like, I don't mind sexy characters because when I play games, I immerse myself into whoever this character is, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling too good about myself, but I'm playing Bayonetta. Like, she fierce, she nice, she strong. That's everything I want to be in life.
It me.
Who dat? It me. I don't know.
And then you have games like Dead or Alive, and you're just like, this was a mistake.
Oh, I like Dead or Alive.
No, it's fun. Like, if you want to see boobs jiggling all over the place like Jello, but
I'm all for feminism, but like, so I seriously want to be like a jiggle physics kind of person, just make money doing that. I feel ashamed because it's like I'm not like into chicks or anything. I'm just like, no, that just feel like I don't know why.
It's appealing to look at, but like, and I'm like games like that, Lollipop Chainsaw, like it's good that they exist. It's whatever. It's an outlet. But the fact that enough of the opposite doesn't exist, like, you think of all of like the AAA titles that are great. You're like, oh, like you think of Nathan Drake. You think of the guy from Gears of War. You think of Kratos.
Oh, Marcus Phoenix.
Like, you think of all these, like, big, strong male characters. Where are the females to back it up?
Yeah.
I personally love Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. I love her as a
one
character.
of the most universally hated
I know.
Final
I
Fantasy
don't care.
games.
I enjoy the game.
But she models purses oh so well.
Oh, my God. But, like, the game, people, love to hate on the game. I feel like if Final Fantasy 13 stood as itself, like it was named something totally different, like Lightning in the Quest for Killing Everything, or like
Lightning in the Quest for Apathy,
or like Hope's spiral into depression, like
and Vanille's annoying voice.
Hashtag my life.
But like, if it was a different game, I feel like it wouldn't have been hated because I loved the paradigm system. I thought that was a really cool combat system. I thought it was all neat. The journey was cool. I enjoyed it. because I took it with a grain of salt. Like, it wasn't Final Fantasy. It just had the moniker on it. But, like, I thought she was a great character. She was strong. You know, people love Cloud. She is female Cloud.
She is.
They're similar characters. Like, you can't hate Lightning and love Cloud.
Well, I hate Cloud.
I know, so it works for you. You hate Cloud and you hate Lightning.
I hate Cloud and Vincent, actually. I hate both of them. I
thought you liked Vincent.
No, I hate Vincent. Vincent's too emo. He's too edgy.
You don't like his clawed hand?
I like the idea of the clawed hand. I don't like that he's emo. Like, he just sits there and complains the whole time like Cloud does. Cloud just complains.
Lucrezia!
Hit me.
Where, like, you know, there's other much more interesting, like, Terra is one of my favorite characters from Final Fantasy VI. She's an awesome character. She's a silent protagonist for most of the game. But her character's motivations and everything for her doing the things she does is all there. You know, she was a puppet of the government for the longest time, and now she wants a little bit of independence, and she can't have that. You know, so it's you know, she was Kefka's, like, slave for the longest amount of time. So, you know, when, you know, she finally gets free from it, and you're like, oh, cool. So,
so who's one of your favorite females? Putting you on the spot, man.
I don't really have one. I only look up to Nathan Drake and Nathan Drake alone. That I wish he was real so I could marry him, but I guess Nathan Fillion will be the second best.
There you go.
Or who's his voice actor?
Nah, Cookie
Nolan
Mama.
North.
Nolan North.
Cookie Mama's pretty dope.
Cookie Mama?
Yeah.
I also
Good like a mama.
like Last of Us was an interesting dynamic where it was.
I finally started playing that.
Did you?
Like 4 years late.
Ellie's character, you don't have to protect Ellie. She's fully capable of defending herself.
That badass 14-year-old.
Yeah, she's fully capable of defending herself, so it's not like an escort mission.
I hate, like, Eco. I couldn't play Eco.
It's so annoying. But then there's also characters like Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite. You're not there to protect her. You're just there to, you know, the game you're there to escort her, but you don't need to defend her. She's fully capable of defending herself.
I'm actually thinking things.
What?
Badass female. There's Nariko from Heavenly Sword. I like her.
I haven't played it.
It's just girl, God of War. You know.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one game coming out now for like PS4 and everything.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yes.
Yes.
Where there's like like robot animals that have taken over the world.
Zoids?
Yeah.
Kind of. They're like cybernetics. It's really
at
cool.
PAX, I went to the Horizon Zero Dawn like thing, and you got to climb this like really big ass T-Rex. And you get this, I just Harambe'd on the top of the T-Rex. I didn't get shot though.
Oh, you did? I was gonna say something else. Oh, I wish Rebecca was here. She told me what her and her girlfriend were talking about being for Halloween. They said they were going to be Harambe.
No! Stop!
You can't do blackface.
Let him rest in peace.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
I want to be Harambe for Halloween.
You're not being...
You can be Winston.
Okay.
And then you can
I'll be May.
activate May. Oh, ew. May is not bad.
I know, but I'm fat.
May's not fat.
Yeah, but her parka makes her look fat, so it works. I'll just wear a really thin
You
one.
can be Zarya.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, she just had a brain blast.
Brain blast!
No, I'd like to be Roadhog. I'd like Roadhog's
I've never
character
seen
a
his
lot.
face. No one's ever seen his face.
No.
I'm gonna be Spider-Gwen. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm going to New York Comic Con as.
It's pretty awesome.
I was gonna go as Parappa the Rapper, and I was like,
Why didn't you?
That's so much cooler.
yeah,
I mean,
but-
Spider-Gwen's awesome too.
Yeah, but Parappa the Rapper,
But
man.
Comic Con.
So?
People go to anime conventions dressed up like Snake, Solid Snake.
Snake! He's totally anime.
Yeah, made by Japanese people. It's close enough. I didn't bring my phone. I was gonna Google. Let's Google if there's an anime about this. There's an anime about Parappa.
Is there?
Yeah, him and Sunny, man, making kissy faces.
What other news has come out recently in the gaming world about games coming out?
Dude, I'm like, stop. Dude, I've been so out of the loop with everything. I'm just like, I hate everything. I'm just gonna sit on my phone.
What's it called? I'm getting ready for GDC in March. in Cali.
There you go.
I'm wondering what the after parties are going to be like ever since last year's Microsoft thing.
Oh, the Microsoft debacle.
What happened?
Break it down for.
No, you were there for that conversation. Microsoft threw an after party, and it was a bunch of like scantily clad women in like schoolgirl uniforms.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing.
I was like, I'm going to that party next year.
Yeah, it's creepy.
There was another one where they were not watching who was going into it, and like people like developers were drinking drinks that were meant for other people, and they were getting like drugged and everything.
I believe it, man.
What?
Like they were not watching who was going into this thing, and just random people came off the street. Like they were like the security was not like tight enough. And so people that weren't supposed to be there got in and started drugging people's drinks.
Well,
like,
that doesn't make me feel safe.
I don't know who. I don't think it was the Microsoft one, but it was one of them where like developers had gotten drugged because of it, because they were drinking drinks meant for other people.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to say I look better than anybody, but like I'm a decent looking gal, and I'm going there hopefully to meet some decent looking game designers. I'm not really trying to get drugged and wake up like half naked on Santa Monica Beach, like far away from San Francisco. You know what I'm saying?
Or in Denny's, you could wake up half naked in Denny's.
I've already did that. I actually played that card the other day, playing Cards Against Humanity. I was like, that happened to me one time, and then they'll like tell us about it. I was like, no. It's not like that anymore.
But
Watching Nickelodeon in underwear.
how long is this?
We can go for a little while longer because we're at 56 minutes.
So we're just gonna cut it an hour.
Probably. We the one with Keith was an hour and a half.
We never got back to that question you asked us
about
the like if we like felt outcasted or whatever.
Yeah,
or,
if
like,
you guys
leadership positions, we just like
we
that
went,
train.
We went to talk about strong female characters, which I would love to just have a whole discussion topic on
please.
that. Just talk about
Sackboy
them.
is my favorite strongest female character.
Because you can put lipstick on Sackboy and put a dress.
And wig.
Wig, yeah.
And eyelashes. God, this
I just like doing
so
the
itchy.
like the head bump.
I just like the. Oh, you go Sackboy. I should have been that for Halloween.
That'd be funny.
Just got a paper sack.
Like, I'm trying to remember some of the other ones, some of my favorite ones. Like, I want to say Ripley from Alien, but Ripley wasn't in a video game. She was in a movie.
They made a game about Alien, though.
Alien Isolation, which is Ripley's daughter, who is very similar in character. Do that Alien. Samus. Yeah, Samus is like the OG strong female character.
My me character.
My me fighter.
If Lil Mac was a girl. Sonic.
You know what? I wish that Amy would have like a profound role in anything, because like I enjoy Amy. She's she's the typical like, oh, I love you, I'm gonna follow you across the ends of the earth.
Yeah, she's crazy.
But like, you know, she follows him everywhere. She's obviously capable. But I don't know. I feel like she's never really been like she had a storyline in
Sonic Adventure,
and then in Heroes she was on a team. But like I don't know.
Rouge the Bat.
My wife, my original wife.
You can't date
without
everybody.
being. I can, and I have a list.
She does actually. Joey Wheeler's at the top of it from Yu-Gi-Oh. She has a framed picture of Joey in a heart frame.
Wait, where?
I got it in high school. It was so fun.
I was gonna say I've been in your house like a million times.
It was packed away, and I found it. It's just this little ceramic heart frame with a picture of him in it.
So, I took these pictures off my Facebook because I was doing a lot of cleaning, and I found this really old picture from like maybe my sophomore year. Or
Was
my
it
junior.
you with Brock from Pokemon
No.
photoshopped in like with your arm?
It was a picture of Chi-Chi and Goku on their wedding day, but I like cut out Chi-Chi's face and I put I have it on my laptop. When I find it, I will send it to you.
Yes.
Because I'm probably going to make that my new Facebook cover photo.
You never made the picture I made you of me as Diva's robot and you as Diva.
Oh my God.
You never made that your profile picture.
That's
I
true.
spent like a good 5 minutes on
I'll
that.
make it my cover photo after I get like tired of it. Because my cover photo is so freaking good. I already messed up. You remember that old 90s texture that they used to put up on the cups?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my cover photo.
Stop.
I was like, I'm hip. Look at me, hip young kids. I too know.
Just be like Steve Buscemi. What's up, fellow kids?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so mad. I have a friend that looks like Steve Buscemi, but I don't have the heart to tell him he looks like Steve Buscemi, so I just let him walk around looking like Steve Buscemi.
I don't think he can help it. So.
That moment when you look like Steve Buscemi, but no one tells you look like Steve Buscemi.
And then again, Angelina Jolie looked like Steve Buscemi when she was in high school, so... I mean, other than her divorce that's going on right now, she's pretty good. Yeah, I'm so sad about that divorce.
I don't care.
I
really don't.
Good for her, man.
Brad probably wanted to adopt an American, and she was like, no.
She's like, only foreign children in this house.
In this tribe. She has a tribe of children.
Yeah.
I want her...
She's
why
got a
can't she
whole
adopt
squad.
me? I want to be adopted by Angelina.
Yeah, I want to be
Her
adopted by
lips can nurture me.
Tomb Raider! How did we forget? Strong female character. She don't need nobody.
She don't.
Yo, we messed up. We, skipped over,
You know, I
Mama
thought about
Jama.
her, but her whole... Up until, recent, her whole, character has just been her boobs.
Her.
But that was an accident. Those boobs were an accident.
They were an accident, and then the people were like, yo, keep
But it was a
that.
happy accident. But it was still an accident. They didn't...
The
mean
new
for
Tomb
it.
Raider, yeah, I can get behind it.
I remember when people were like when they made the new Tomb Raider, and there were still those people who will never be satisfied because they don't care about video games. These people that complain, they don't care about video games.
They just want to complain.
But they were like, look at this, she's strong, she's not sexualized. And then someone sat there and was like, those death scenes seem a little sexually charged. And they're
What?
like, is there no pleasing you people? Like,
Of course not.
So I don't know why, but whenever I think of not being able to please anyone, I think of Tumblr. And I read this article on Tumblr how this girl was drowning, and the lifeguard saved her, and he did mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna press charges against him. He touched my body without my permission."
You should have let her drown.
I was like, he should have just left you choking on the water.
that was
Now she's going to pollute the gene pool with her shitty ideals.
there's the one Vine where the girl's drowning, the guy saves her and goes to perform CPR. They're like, she has a boyfriend, and pulls her away.
She'll be okay.
She'll be okay. It's so I'm just these people.
I love that so much.
Where do they come from?
I don't know. The internet gives them a voice, so they're going to use it as much as we
she
don't
has a
want them to.
boyfriend.
But at least we got people like me, Maya, and Rebecca. We're all hanging out.
You just play games. You're just there to play games.
There's a point of being reasonable. When you stop being reasonable, that's when we stop being taken seriously.
Exactly.
There's things to fight about, to fight for, and then there's dumb things that'll get sorted out once your major issue. But even just dumb things, do you really need to fight over that? You don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was with Anita Sarkeesian's finally gonna leave video games alone. She started another Kickstarter to con more people out of their money.
Hey.
And it's not having to do anything with video games. But in her more recent one, she was female character designs, and she used Bayonetta as an example. And someone was like, you do realize Bayonetta was designed by a woman, and it was as we talked about earlier, it was the designer's female power fantasy. How every, Superman is, every...
Kratos. Kratos and Marcus Phoenix.
And then she was talking about Cortana in Halo, and how Cortana's design is nude, even though she doesn't have, physical features. She's just an AI. But some AIs design themselves to have clothes. It's just how the AI... And then someone was like, within the lore of Halo, the person who designed Cortana was the most no-nonsense person who... it was a half a day's worth of security protocols her office was hidden behind because the government, the UNSC, didn't really like her. So she did it, and then she kept it that way so that anytime so she just lived in her office. So anytime anyone from the higher up needed to visit her, they had to spend half a day getting through security protocols. She just did things to spite people. So that's where Cortana gets her personality from.
It may.
So, and someone was like, it actually has a canonical reason for why she does that. And it's not just because. It's given a reason, and it's explained well within the lore of the universe.
The cool thing about video games, you can do a lot of stuff just because.
Yeah.
You don't really have to explain anything. Why is she naked? Because. Why she's got blue hair? Cause. Why she have feelings for a human even though she's a robot? Cause.
Or robot. She is and robot.
Ow! Ellie from Borderlands.
Yes.
I love her.
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina, yes.
That's me. That is like,
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't blind one eye and just cockeyed, you know, and then have like, oh no, I do have blonde hair now.
There you go.
The metamorphosis has begun. I'm just gonna start blowing up. I mean,
Lilith.
don't.
Lilith and the siren from Borderlands 2.
Maya.
Maya.
You mean me? Oh.
Yeah, you.
How you forget? That's me. It.
Because she above 4 feet, man.
Listen, it's really hard being a dwarf, okay? I can't reach stuff by myself. I have to get help or climb the counter or get a step. I have one step stool for home, and I have one step stool for my dorm at college. I have a step stool in the lab
You got a step
that I
stool
tutor.
for your step stool.
Yo, don't talk about mini stool like that. I will wreck you. I got a step stool to eat my burrito. That's
There you go.
how tiny I
It's a
am.
big burrito.
Hey.
Oh, who else? From Borderlands, Athena and Nisha.
Yeah.
Nisha is a very similar character to Bayonetta, because she's sadomasochist.
Alright.
And she uses her sexuality as like a weapon against me. Literally, her ability is like the damage she takes, she deals it back.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Um,
When we getting friendlies, I'm hungry.
Are we getting friendlies or Denny's?
No.
Let's go to Denny's. I mean, I'm not eating, but like, I don't want to drive too far.
Denny's. I'm like so Denny's out.
How are you Denny's out? Like a year ago, we said Denny's and you would go on a rampage.
Teppanyaki? No, I can't. I can't afford teppanyaki. Plus, I already ate Panera.
I would like a pita bread.
I had Panera before I
would
came.
like
My
a
dad bought me
flatbread.
Panera, Pantera bread.
Oh, I want Panera now.
And let's go to Panera.
Damn it.
I
You
want.
know-
I want a.
I want everything.
Let's go get mac and cheese.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, on that note, this has been the Team Joystick Heroes podcast with Chris,
Cat.
And me.
Maya,
Maya.
and Rebecca was here. We promise.
In spirit.
We etched her was here in a tree to keep the spirit alive. Spirit of Christmas.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.